Erik ten Hag could really make a second thought of really going at Bayern Munich and getting Gravenberch back to his control. Remember, he played with him at Ajax. He's not an old boy. He's just a boy who is just 20 years of age, still having a lot in his career, but really experiencing the worst of his career at a side called Bayern Munich. Then we are going to talk about Glazers' shock, guys, because every day we get a story about the sale of the club, and we are getting different sources from different stories from different sources as far as the sale of United is concerned, and looks like the Glazers want to do another bottle job at the club of Manchester United by repeating what they did in the January transfer window, and obviously not selling us in time to give the new owners to really plan for what the new signings are going to be for Manchester United. There is David Raya. You know him very well. He's a Premier League goalkeeper, and obviously he plays for I think Brentford, if I'm not mistaken. He plays for Brentford, that's it. And United is really eyeing for him. We are not really the only club eyeing in for him, but we have very, very many clubs that are really in for him. Thank you guys for watching. Through smash the like button, comment and share. And if you're totally watching us for the very first time, lower right bottom corner, that's the place to be. Second video of the day. Remember, we started off with a video of United. Preview versus Nottingham Forest. That's a game happening tomorrow at the City Stadium in Nottingham. The last time we played there, we beat them 8-1. Remember, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came from the bench and scored 4 goals. He's, I think, one of the subs that came off the bench and really scored very many goals in the club history or in the world club history. So that is it, and let's get into these stories that are really so much up here for you. For Gravenberch, I've read this story on the Manchester Evening News telling us that Erik ten Hag might go for his protege who was with him, whom he was with at Ajax, and obviously he had agreed a deal to join Bayern Munich even before what we call the summer came to a commence. Remember, he agreed a deal of close to 25 million euros from Ajax to Bayern Munich and was sold there to go outside there and really begin his career there. But mayhem hit him hard at Bayern Munich because he found there Joshua Kimmich. Before he came there, Joshua Kimmich was playing as a right back for Bayern Munich, and Gratzka was playing as a CDM. Now, as Gravenberch was leaving Ajax, he came with his fellow ex-teammate known as Mazraoui, who was playing as a right back for Erik ten Hag at Ajax, and he came with him at Bayern. Now, what Nagelsmann did, the coach of Bayern Munich, he went ahead and put Joshua Kimmich back in the midfield, that is the CDM position. Then he went ahead to put a player called Mazraoui into the right back, meaning that the position that Gravenberch would have been playing for Bayern Munich is nowhere near his reach because there are very many huge players. And secondly, Bayern went in for another player that goes by the names of Musiala, who is really one of the best talents I've seen in world football. To me, he's the best he's the best talented central attacking midfielder in the world. That is Musiala. Because when you look at Gravenberch, he can play in all of the positions in the midfield. He can play as a CDM, he can play as a box-to-box midfielder, he can play as a central attack midfielder. Now, when you look at Bayern Munich and the way they stand, every time they're playing the game of football, they are not using Gravenberch a lot, and Gravenberch is really, really complaining about not having enough playing time. And what has gone ahead to raise these talks or rumors that maybe Ten Hag will go in for Gravenberch, Ten Hag said that they are going in for one more player. That's it. He said they're going in for one more player. And obviously, if you ask me, it's supposed to be a midfielder for Manchester United, because all in all, this is what United have been really going ahead looking for season in, season out as far as this is concerned. When you look at Bayern Munich, their last game they played against RB Leipzig, that game ended 1-1. Gravenberch was not even played in this game. He never played, not even a second, because the midfield had Gratzka, Kimmich, and obviously Musiala, and none of those was taken out apart from Musiala. So it shows you that he is way far from the pecking order of Nagelsmann, the manager of Bayern Munich, meaning that puts him into a situation of really not playing for a team called Bayern Munich and really wanting to go out on loan, because Bayern won't let him go on a permanent deal, I think, because they're having good plans for him. But if at all you're not playing a player, why don't you really let him go? And Gravenberch's agent was seen at Anfield, and him being seen at and by the way, it's a she. And her being seen at Anfield has raised suspicions that the agent was discussing a loan deal to Liverpool from Bayern Munich, and that has really raised a lot of dust for Erik ten Hag to go ahead and really reunite with Gravenberch, because the problem of Manchester United is the midfield. Trust me, if you're having Gravenberch against Arsenal and Casemiro is away, he comes in and fits into that CDM role very, very well. He's young, 20 years of age. His physicality is undoubted. He is a good passer of the ball. He has the energy. He drives well. His tackling is undoubted. He's really one of those players that has really gotten his debut season at Bayern Munich, really shearing his career down the drain, because it is really bad for a player like him. At the age of 20, you should be playing season in, season out, and maybe Erik ten Hag might go back for this player and say, can we have him on loan? That's it, because he's not being used. However much I've seen stories coming in from Play to Goal concerning Gravenberch that he is not up for sale and they want to keep him at the club. But you can't tell me that a player really wants to stay at the club when he is not really getting in playing time, because Bayern have no right to say that a player is not up for sale if at all they cannot offer him enough playing time, and he cannot even get off the bench to go on and do the needful. Because look at stories coming in from Play to Goal. Let me show you what Play to Goal has said. Close source to Bayern Munich. This is what he had to say about a guy known as Gravenberch, that it's decided and no doubt he has to stay at FC Bayern Munich. No transfer in January within the club. They still believe in him. A loan to Liverpool or to another club is no option. That is what he has gone ahead to tell Sky Germany. But ask yourself, how many games has Gravenberch gone ahead to play for his side of Bayern Munich this season? When you look at his stats, he has played 10 games in the Bundesliga, and I doubt whether he has gone ahead to start games in the Bundesliga. I believe he has not started games in the Bundesliga, but every player wouldn't like to be underutilized like Gravenberch. Every player would love to be utilized to full potential, and according to the age that Gravenberch is in, he would love to be playing games in, games out. So I believe if Ten Hag gets him in, it's really going to be great. But Liverpool is also in for the battle of Gravenberch. But I believe with Erik ten Hag, his former manager, talking to him, he will come. Let's see what is going to develop tomorrow as far as this Gravenberch story is mushrooming. So that's it about Gravenberch, and obviously let's leave it at that and go to another story of a goalkeeper called David Raya. David Raya is a goalkeeper who plays for a side known as Brentford. He's 27 years of age, and he has gone ahead to prove that he's really one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. And we've been told that United, Spurs and Chelsea have all already contacted David Raya. He wants to assess the options he will have next summer. Now, to me, I believe that the last position for Erik ten Hag to fix at Manchester United is going to be the goalkeeping department. David De Gea is not doing bad. The problem we are having is the midfield is really the problem, because when you look at Casemiro, he's out, we look vulnerable. Bruno Fernandes out, we look vulnerable. So one signing that Erik ten Hag should first go for is for a central defensive midfielder. That's it. Then he needs to go in for a striker. Those are two. He needs to go in for right back. Those are three. He needs to go in for a central defender. Those are four. Now, do you expect United to really spend a lot of money on a goalkeeper, yet they're having four positions to go ahead and really rectify in the team of Erik ten Hag? Because Ten Hag is known of a man who is good at building a squad. So I believe David De Gea will be the last position to be fixed in the season of Manchester United, and that's why Ten Hag is really wanting him to be given a new contract at the club of Manchester United. Negotiations are going on. David De Gea also confirmed to us that he really wants to stay for the club. And trust me, David De Gea is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. You lose him, to go out and bring in an equivalent to him, you have to spend close to 60 or 70 million pounds. Remember what Liverpool did. They had to spend close to 60 million pounds to go at AS Roma and sign a goalkeeper known as Alisson Becker. So if you have to go in for Raya, I know he's not going to live on the ship at Brentford. They'll call like for 50 million pounds because there are already teams battling for this player. Chelsea and Spurs are looking at him, meaning that United is really not into this race according to what I'm really knowing. However much Relevo is reporting this source from Spain and the goalkeeper is Spanish, I don't see this happening. I don't see this happening because Ten Hag is really focusing on other positions to reinforce his team. David De Gea is doing good. His distribution is improving. His goalkeeping department is really going great. He's improving his goalkeeper sweeping tactics. So he's really one of those players that you'll go out and really not look at right now. So that's why I rubbish that story of David Raya to Manchester United, because I don't see it holding any water. Now let's go to the Glazers and what they are planning for the selling of Manchester United. All right, smash the like button, comment and share. We are having Mike Keegan, is a sports news correspondent for the Mail Sport. He has told us that the Glazers family search for investment in United is likely to result in a full sale of the club, with the process set to move to more formal stage in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So looks like before the Glazers thought of really selling the club, maybe they are thinking of an investment that if at all we can get in a person to take like 30% of the shares and inject in like 1 billion, to take like 30% of the shares and invest like 3 billion or 2 billion pounds into the club, that will be great for them because it will really give them relief, because it is said the club, to build a new stadium we need 1 billion pound, you get, to renovate Carrington, the facilities, that will need like 200 million pounds, and then the remainder of like 1.2 billion pounds, they can use that amount of money to go out and really reinforce the squad by bringing in players that the manager is really wanting, because right now the market is really competitive and stiff. If you can't go out there with that financial muscle, you're not going to get in players that you want. So if it's happening in 2 or 3 weeks from now, as we are told that mid-February is when bids are really going to be welcomed in by Manchester United, and they are going to be out there public that so and so has made a bid of such and such amount of money to take over Manchester United, meaning that the takeover might really happen in March. That won't be bad because it will be before the transfer window. If at all they come in, I think they'll use the month of April to settle in. So May can be used to discuss deals, and obviously June. Then on the 1st of July, things will go on and happen in a very drastic way for United. But I've got a worrying story that contradicts with Mike Keegan coming in from TalkSport as far as the resale of United is concerned. The Glazers hope to sell United by the start of the summer transfer window. This is really absurd, because if you look at the Glazers coming in through to sell the club at the beginning of the transfer window, what does it mean? That means they're not going to get rid of Richard Arnold and John Mata, who have been here negotiating this deal stupidly. Secondly, that means we are not going to get in signings as soon as possible, as Erik ten Hag would have wanted, because look at Chelsea, the mess they are into. They signed 6 players in the summer, but they started signing players late because the takeover really took up to May. That's why it really happened like that. Then look, in the January transfer window, they're really spending lots of money around because they have to meet the requirements of the manager known as Graham Potter. So we don't want to find ourselves in such a situation, because you can't go out and renegotiate a deal when we're not having an owner, because it's the one who sanctioned that you are going to come to a club. So United doesn't want to tarnish its image on that level. So what they want is simple. They want to see to it that this club is taken over before April. According to me, it should be March. If the takeover is completed by March, even if it takes the entire full month of March, such that by the time we start 1st April, we are having new owners, then Ten Hag will go on and really tell the board, I want such and such a player. Then he will send out scouts to go on and really talk to the people that he really wants. Secondly, after Tom Keane leaving, we need another chief negotiator. Obviously, that negotiator is going to be brought in with the new owners coming through, because no one is going to hire a negotiator to come in and really get that job done, because on whose orders are you going to be acting? You get? So, if they need a new negotiator, Ten Hag will get in a negotiator, and obviously that will happen. For the bet of the club, if the Glazers really want to go out in peace, however much they've done lots of things for us, let them do us one favor. After us being lenient and patient, now we want them out. They've not backed the manager in the January transfer window. They never got him the players he wanted. Let them live in peace and really sell this club by the 31st of March. Such that the new owners coming through ask Erik ten Hag, what do you want? He tells them what he wants, and obviously they'll serve him according to his menu that has really gone ahead to press onto the table of the new owner. So guys, thank you very much for watching in through. What do you think about Ten Hag eyeing Gravenberch in there for you? Then the Glazers shock, trying to sell the club in the beginning of the summer. That is really abysmal. It will be the biggest fiascos that I've ever seen in the world football, made by a club taking close to 8 months to sell the club, because the story to sell the club came out in November. When you count November, December, and the summer begins in May. The season ends at the beginning of the summer. I think that is around May. That will be really long. How can you take close to 8 months to sell a club? You get? So, if you wish it well, that means you have to sell it early and early enough. And if at all you don't wish it well and you're looking at the money gains you're going to get, or the money bags you're going to get, then you'll go all out and say, all right, I don't care. Let them really find themselves in the situation of where they want to be or where they don't want to be. But for me, I'm here to go in for the highest bidder, to go in and really take or give me the money. Rokan David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later. Smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe. May the Almighty Lord bless you abundantly. Good evening, mates.